What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 138. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m., usually. Join the chat if you're a subscriber over there. I'd love to have you in on all the talk and conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube the very next week where it drops topic by topic. Is put in one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. Get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us, and we would love you for it. So, recording the podcast a little bit late today because one of our topics is wrestling related. We had Slammiversary this past Sunday. Shout out to Papa Griff for the topic suggestion because I had no idea what I was going to talk about. But yeah, I forgot Slammiversary was coming up, so I decided to throw it on and give Impact a chance as they're celebrating 20 years of being around, which, holy shit, time flies. So I decided to boot up the pay-per-view, give it a watch, see all the craziness that happens over there with their talents, and just talk about the matches that went down. So overall, in the Slammiversary event, went about a little shy of 3 hours. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. Oh, yeah, 7 matches, not too bad. I thought all the matches were solid. There was a couple of moments where I was like, this didn't hit, or maybe didn't strike as I thought it maybe should have, or just fell off, especially in the setting. But overall, talents did really, really well, obviously, in what they're doing there. Nothing went wrong. Nobody got hurt, I hope. So that's good. So let's kick it off with our opener. We had the Ultimate X match. So for the X Division title, we had Trey Miguel, Kenny King, Alex Zane, Speedball Mike Bailey, and we also had, what's his name? Ace Austin, apparently new to the Bullet Club, so congrats to him. And then replacing Jack Evans, because he wasn't medically cleared, we had Andrew Everett making a return to Impact, so cool for that. Lots of dives, fast-paced action, as to be expected. It's the fucking X Division. I don't know what you expect. I thought all the talents looked really, really cool. Looked really good. Cool to see Alex Zane succeeding. I only knew about him through NXT. That was how I was introduced. So seeing his progression from there to the Indies to now, obviously, Impact. I don't think he's officially signed there. This could have just been an appearance. But seeing him change up his look and, like I said, really seems like he's succeeding on the independent scene. Just making some moves over there. Cool to see him and the success that he's had. The guys all did great. We had a big tower spot that led into a Super Canadian Destroyer off one of the ring posts from Trey Miguel onto Zane. That looked insane. I will never know how they don't hurt each other, their neck, their head, whatever, especially with moves like that or the pile drivers that we'll talk about later. It's just insane. But that was great. Andrew Everett would make a move for the title. With the Ultimate X, they got to climb the cables and kind of pull themselves to the center where the belt is, or the X sometimes, to get that number one contendership. And he positioned himself essentially on top of the ropes and kind of nudged himself forward. He got to the center X, the cross, where it's most stable, set himself on top, but got pulled down. I think it was, the head scissor takedown by Bailey. Speedball was up there along with, I think it was Ace. Austin were up there at the top, but head scissors took Everett down, took quite the fall, obviously, from that height. Very close to the ropes on the edges, but looked good. Bailey's able to take down Austin from the top as they traded some chops and then some kicks. And then Speedball Bailey, Mike Bailey, was able to take the title here. Definitely seemed happy and excited. So congrats to him. I know he's been making some moves in Impact as well. Crowd was definitely behind him. So congrats to him. New X Division champion there. So then we got the Knockouts tag titles. I would say this was probably not the low point, but maybe. Not that it was a bad match, just it seemed kind of quick, this one. So it was the Influence. So Madison Rayne and, oh crap, what's Emma's new name? Well, it's not a new name. She's been Tennille Dashwood, Jesus Christ. Defending against Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. Now, I guess Taya and Rosemary have had a lot of history over in Impact, a lot of big feuds, and they've been like this on again, off again, we're friends, we're not friends relationship. So they're officially chasing for the tag titles. We kind of saw some animosity at the beginning. They were yelling at each other about tags here and there and when to get in on the match. But yeah, the ladies did good. Like I said, I thought it was a quicker match, so maybe that's why it's my low point overall of the event. We had one double spear move on the Influence as Rosemary and Taya kind of ran at each other, spearing the Influence at the same time. That kind of led to them smacking heads with each other. Hopefully that's okay. But then we got the combo finish, knee to the face from Taya to Rosemary doing her slam finish. Pin, new tag champs as Taya and Rosemary will take this. So, quick match, not too much to this, but I thought the ladies did great, and congrats to the new champs there. Throughout the night, we also got some promotions, or promos in general, just like some video packages from people who have been in Impact or TNA prior. We had a Sting one, we had Kurt Angle at this point. We got a shout out for Don West and Mike Tenay later in the night, and then we got probably the biggest one, because it's just a surprise that we had a little bit of cross promotion between wrestling companies here as AJ Styles would make a promo. Holy shit. That was cool. Very cool to see WWE obviously allow him to do this. I wish it could have been in a different way, as I'll talk about later. But it's a small little thing, just being like, oh, shit, all right. Good to see him able to make this appearance here and talk about his history in the company. Okay, so now, Monsters Ball. Monsters Ball was Moose versus Sami Callihan. Another good match. A lot of weaponry, in this match. And fun spots. I will say the promo leading into this match, or their promotion of it, was silly. Now, granted, my history with Impact, I watched it years ago, but I haven't watched it in recent years, so I don't know if the build toward this match is different than it used to be. But they kind of promoted it as these two gentlemen were locked in rooms for 24 hours with no lights, no food, no water. And then they get released and they go out and fight. So, that was dumb. And that kind of led to, I know it's supposed to be entertaining, but I thought some kind of dumb moments leading into, especially this kind of match, which is, more violent, more like chaos and destruction, and to have this comedy bit-esque time of rolled into it didn't really fit and kind of seemed dumb. So, obviously, like I said, the lights are off, so Moose comes out for his entrance. He's got all these spotlights on him. He's like, oh, God, my eyes, all that. Sami will attack him during his entrance. The two are going to start their fight. They're going at it. Callihan will get taken care of at one point, and Moose is then going to proceed to steal some food and water from an audience member and just go to town on that. So that was dumb. But after we got those things out of the way, they went full on. A lot of trash cans involved, lids, pans, things hitting themselves in the head. Just a solid smacks all around. Sami would get busted up pretty early on in the match. Surprisingly, Moose only took a couple of hits or scratches and stuff on the back somehow. Interesting spots, let's see, that we had in here. I already mentioned the trash can lids. We had a barbed wire door come into play later on. Timekeeper table got taken down. Thumbtacks got involved. Not surprising there. And then, we had a powerbomb on a vertical trash can. Big ouch there. Barbed wire bat. I think was the last big one. So yeah, some interesting stuff here. One scary moment as Moose was going to attempt to kind of spring or run up to the top rope. He slipped, was able to catch himself, thank God. 2 recovered. He went back up to the top rope, and then Sammy was going to push him off into the timekeeper's table, breaking that. So, glad nobody got hurt there. Slight scary moment, but all good. Yeah, 2 did a great job. It was very back and forth the entire time. Thing that ended it was 2 cactus drivers from Sami Callihan onto Moose. First one, Moose was going to kick out at 1, kind of hulked up over there. I think Sami spit at him, or maybe Moose spit at him. I don't know. Barbed wire bat hit into another cactus driver. Sami Callihan wins after making his return from injury after 10 months. Good match overall. Just could have dealt without that little kind of comedy-esque type stuff at the beginning, but yeah, it is what it is. Then we had the Impact Tag titles. We had the Briscoes going against the Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows. Another fine match. I felt like the women's tag match, this one kind of went a little short, and I feel like it was more just for the aftermath, not the match itself. We had some chair usage that just kind of was going by. Ref didn't really notice it there for some reason. Gentlemen looked great with their match. Magic Killer would eventually finish this off, and we get new tag champs with the Good Brothers going over and beating the Briscoes. We get a little bit of a post-match stare down, and then we kind of lead into more of the nostalgia, similar to the former Impact wrestlers and their video packages. As we get AMW America's Most Wanted making an appearance. Very cool to see James Storm and Chris Harris here. All of them sharing a beer, except for Wildcat. He's going to go with water. And we got the sorry about your damn luck call out. Good old catchphrase. The group, all 6 of them will drink. We're all buddy-buddy now. And we'll end it there. So now, we get the tag team match of Honor No More against the Impact Originals. So Impact Originals only had 4 of their 5 members, so we were waiting on a big announcement of who was going to be the 5th. So the teams were, for Honor No More, we had Eddie Edwards, we had Vincent, Mike Bennett, I can picture these guys, Taven, and then PCO. And then they were against the Impact Originals, the Motor City Machine Guns, Nick Aldis, Frankie Kazarian, and then their 5th, which was announced to be Davey Richards. So we get the Wolves fighting against each other, former tag team partners, champs of Eddie Edwards and Richards going at it and battling it out here. This was just a fun, chaotic match. A lot of tag team moves that looked fluid, especially from the Impact Originals. A lot of 5-man tag sequences. Mainly flowed pretty well for the majority of it. There was a couple of spots where Richards was trying to pump up the crowd and kind of just paused momentum, which kind of seemed off. But good stuff there. Some fun moments there with a double submission. Some interference by Maria and then Tracy Brooks, Kaz's wife. We get an interesting Spanish fly attempt from Kaz and PCO. That was kind of a iffy landing. Looked high on the shoulders there because I'm really into all this stuff, but a little bit scary. Kenny King would eventually interfere, along with another interference for the Impact Originals as D'Lo Brown would come up, gives the nastiest powerbomb to Kenny King, and then a splash to follow up. Now, Brian Hebner was referee of this match. At one point, he did get taken out of the match. I don't recall how, but Earl Hebner was his dad was next to ringside, so he came out, checked on his son, and then helped out and actually counted the 1, 2, 3 for the Impact Originals to win in the end. So cool to see the Hebners there. Obviously, unfortunately, losing a relative Saturday. Was it Dave Hebner? I apologize. But cool to see them there. Finish up, the match there. Give a little point up to him, up to the brother. But yeah, Impact Originals won here. Not too much of a surprise. Most of Slammiversary was a big nostalgia trip, which was fun. It was more of like just celebrating history, it was fun overall. So it was a good time. Richards as the surprise fifth. I get it for the drama between the Wolves, between him and Eddie Edwards. I get that callback. Fine. I don't think he was the most exciting of entries or announcements. Apparently, there's some rumors around that Styles was going to be a little bit more involved in Slammiversary besides the video package, but something happened. That would have been absolutely insane if they got that to somehow, work. I doubt it. Obviously, every rumor is like, you got to take this with a pinch of salt or a grain of salt, whatever it is. WWE obviously playing ball with other companies is not something that normally happens, for the longest time now. So even the video package is something huge of like them allowing him to do that. So it would have been some kind of miracle to let AJ in on this match. But they did have a lot of representation from the Impact original team. You had obviously the Impact guys with Motor City Machine Guns, AEW with Kaz, NWA with Aldis, and then MLW with Richards making the appearance here. So a lot of cross promotion there. And then, so yeah, Richards, interesting surprise. I get it for the drama. He did really, really try hard to get some energy going on the whole match. The crowd was like 50-50, and maybe this is just the smaller crowd feel compared to a WWE or an AEW, and not like the arena. But when they want to be loud, they can be loud. They chant, they shout at the wrestlers, they're cheering, applauding, whatever. There's the highs where they're doing that, and there's these incredibly low lows where there's almost like nothing going on audience-wise. And I get it. It's a smaller crowd, and maybe it's just that more, not indie, but smaller crowd feel where the energy just kind of gets sucked out of the room and there's nothing going on there. I don't know, but Richards tried to get him in during this match and kind of had hit or miss success on that. So now we get into the women's title. We get to the first Queen of the Mountain match. We have Tasha Steelz defending against Jordynne Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, and Tamia Yim. Mickie James is going to be the special enforcer here. Did she do a whole lot? No. She probably interfered more than she needed to, as she has history with a good chunk of the competitors here. So Tasha was coming into this defending her title. Entered with Savannah Evans, I believe is her name, as her kind of backup, her enforcer. As soon as the match started, Tasha went out to set up some tables outside, and the rest of the ladies are going to go at it. So if you don't know the rules for King of the Mountain, Queen of the Mountain, the 5 competitors start. They wrestle normally, no DQs, anything like that. You can get a pinfall anywhere. You need to qualify first. You pin your opponent. If you pin your opponent successfully for the 3 or submit them, you qualify to win the title. You have to take the title and go hang it up at the top of the ladder on the little, the hook. If you get pinned by somebody, you need to go in the penalty box, the cage, for 2 minutes, and you can't obviously do anything in there. So, whole point is get the pin, then go hang up the belt. So the rest of the ladies are going at it. We get some dives, and then Tasha gets thrown in the ring, and we get a very weird, I don't know, it must have been a botch, a miscommunication, whatever, but Tasha got pinned twice by Chelsea. Ref counts 1, ref counts 2. He pulls the third one, but Chelsea and Tasha doesn't kick out, and then he recounted it. So anyways, Chelsea qualifies. Steelz gets put into the cage. Mickie throws out Savannah Evans from side, whatever. And then we start getting more people eligible. Yim's going to get eligible after pinning Chelsea Green. Yim's going to attempt to make the climb, hang the belt up there. And then Tasha's going to come in and save her belt for herself. Did this cool kind of step off of Jordan Grace's back, off the ladder, cut her to Yim. Not the smoothest, but looks solid. It was a fun moment. Purrazzo's then's going to submit Steels after this, so everybody was chasing after the champion, trying to get her out of the equation. So now you got 3 eligible. We got a face stomp on the ladder from Green to Steels as well. And then Yim was going to come off the penalty box to give a drop kick to Chelsea Green. And then showing shades of Shelton Benjamin, she's going to run off the ladder as it was propped up on the ropes, run off, dive onto Grace and Purrazzo on the outside. Okay, so now we get a little bit of interference from our enforcer, Mickie James. So Chelsea Green was going to make the climb with the belt to win it for herself. Mickie James is going to stop her from getting the win for whatever reason, story. But this is going to lead to them having a little bit of a shouting match. And then Chelsea Green is going to attempt to do it again. But she's going to meet somebody at the top of the ladder. She's going to meet Purrazzo. Oh, shit, we're buddies. Well, only one of us can get this. As the two are bickering up top, Yim is going to push the ladder, pushes them outside to those initial tables that Tasha Steelz had set up outside the ring. Both of them take a dive, smash through the tables below. Grace is going to get eligible by pinning Steelz. Oof. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Grace is going to get eligible by pinning Yim in the ring, and Steelz is also going to jump on top, kind of getting them both eligible. So everyone's eligible in the match. Tasha makes the climb. Grace is going to grab her off the ladder, muscle buster, pins her one more time, and then Grace will make the climb from there and hook the belt on, becoming the new Impact Knockouts champion. So, good match overall. Ladies did great. Like I said, we had that one kind of iffy spot with that diving cutter from Tasha onto, I think it was Yim. But yeah, they did great. We had some fun spots here. New champ, obviously. Still a little bit weird of a concept to get eligible and then go hang it up, but not the worst thing Impact has tried to do. That reverse battle royale is kind of stupid. So this one works out. Fun match. Good time. I don't think they needed Mickie there. Like I said, she kind of just did more for her own good than anything really to help the match. But whatever. I get it. Try and get everybody involved. So we're going to head into your main event, Impact World Championship on the line. Josh Alexander defending against Eric Young. And talk about a big tribute match. This whole night has been like history, history, history. We're celebrating it. Getting promos from old wrestlers and stuff like that. Appearances. This whole match was essentially that, as we got a plethora of moves performed by these two from former Impact guys. We had the best moonsault ever, a Black Hole Slam, a Styles Clash, Olympic Slam. We got Team Canada, the hockey stick making an appearance. We got the guitar of the Jeff Jarrett spot over the head. Both did great. We kind of expanded the story by exposing the floorboards. I guess we did that building up to this. We got a pile driver onto Josh Alexander. He kicks out of it. Eric Young attempts to set up a top rope pile driver. Alexander's going to be able to reverse that into an ankle lock. Doesn't submit. Grabs into the C4 spike. Spikes him on the wood. And Josh Alexander retains. Still champion. No surprises at the end here. Just cuts to black. Fades. So, that one seemed quick because maybe it was too. I mean, I think that one went maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Not super short of a match, but fine overall. So, I would say that basically wraps up my thoughts on Slammiversary. Overall, I thought it was fine. It was a lot of fun seeing, obviously, the historic moments of Impact over its 20 years, seeing the promos from former wrestlers, seeing, obviously, the return of some people like AMW, the Hebners, Tracy Brooks, Christy Hemme made an appearance. Dixie Carter was out there to announce Richards. Yeah, it was just a fun night overall. I don't think it's it was the best. I don't watch Impact regularly, so maybe if I do watch it regularly, if I had watched it more regularly, their weekly program, maybe I'd be a little bit more invested in that stuff. But I thought, like I said, all the wrestlers did fine. I'm not sure if it's just an atmosphere thing too, with it being like the crowd being super into it, super hot, and then dead, just kind of throws off the energy, I guess, overall of the match as well. But what they're doing in the ring is not the issue, I would say. It's just a matter of excitement level, whether it is the crowd or sometimes those entrance music themes do not hit. It's just like, there's no like excitement for people coming out. It's just like it's there, and it's they're all very similar in how they sound to each other. It's like this very, not bland, but just basic either guitar or whatever it is behind it. So I feel if they had a little bit more variation there, or there was that moment where people got excited, that pop, maybe that would add to it. I don't know, just felt energy felt flat at times. So but yeah, celebrating 20 years, obviously that's no easy feat, so congrats to them. Hope for more. More wrestling is just going to make everybody better. They've had their ups and downs over the years, so glad to see them sticking around, learning from their mistakes, and doing their own thing. Not really adjusting or changing just because something's working somewhere else. Obviously they, during especially pandemic time, made those working relationships with people, whether it's AEW, whether it's New Japan, whatever they're doing. It's good that they have these open and healthy relationships. Keep those going, but obviously keep doing their own thing. And yeah, they can just, keep going from there, hopefully grow, hopefully succeed. I think it'll be good for them. But yeah, it was a good event overall. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here story-wise down the road. I guess they might have already announced Josh Alexander is going to be fighting Joe Ellering, I think is his name, the bigger guy for Violent by Design. I think he's going to be fighting him for the title at the next pay-per-view. I'm going to be interested to see where they go with the rest of the title pictures. Obviously, you got a lot of new champs tonight. Jordan Grace, or the night of Slammiversary, Jordan Grace with knockouts. The tag titles with Taya and Rosemary. Men's title with Good Brothers. We'll have to see. New champ with Speedball Bailey for X Division. A lot of changes. Mickie James obviously having some interference in the Queen of the Mountain match. I'm sure she's going to be feuding with Chelsea Green potentially next, or someone involved there. Maybe Tasha gets a run back on Jordan Grace. Same with Ace Austin, Bullet Club on Bailey. And then, where the Briscoes go from here. Do they go back after Good Brothers, or do we try and get another team involved? Time will tell. We'll have to see. Moving on to topic 2, let's talk some video games. I want to talk about kind of like the ups and downs, the pros and cons of my experiences of, like, I don't know how you exactly name or what the exact name of the genre is, but it's like open world survival games. So games like your Minecraft, your Stardew Valley, your Grounded, your any game where it's kind of open-ended and you can kind of just do whatever you want, but you need to gather resources, survive. Maybe survival strategy, maybe that's the name of the genre. And the pros and cons of it. If you've been watching stream lately, first of all, thank you for doing that. You've noticed that Jeff and I have been playing Grounded together. It's essentially like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you're out in the front yard and your kid's trying to deal with all these bugs, and you're trying to figure out how to get back to normal size. Collect resources from the bugs, food, water, build a base, etc. And it's been a fun time. First off, just hanging with Jeff, obviously, twitch.tv/JeffReg. It's been fun hanging out with him, but also it's just like any of these games. They're really fun to start off because it's that allure of like mystery and the, at least for this game, like the puzzle behind the story of like, wait, why are we in this situation? And it's figuring everything out. What do I need to prepare? What do I need to build? What keeps me progressing in this story? And early on, all of this is exciting. Another game that recently I played on stream after years, RimWorld. RimWorld is another perfect example of this. And while this mystery and allure of like solving things and figuring out what resources you need can be exciting, I think it can also be a detriment as well, and that's sometimes where my hang up is. In these games, sometimes they're too open-ended because there's no central focus. There's obviously things you need to accomplish and you need to do. If we're going to talk about like Stardew Valley, like they have their missions that you can either accept at the general store, or maybe you're running errands for people. But sometimes some of these games, it's almost, once again, too open, and you have that choice of freedom of like, you could go this way, you could go that way, you could go this way. And you're just sitting there and you're like, where do I put my focus? If I'm going to talk about Stardew once again, do I go to the mines? Do I attack the little monsters to get the resources there? Or do I focus on the farm? Duh, always focus on the farm. Or do I go fishing? If it's something like Grounded, it's like, okay, do I build my base up? Or do I go over here and trying to get a certain bug type so I can upgrade my materials or my weapons? Or if it's RimWorld, it's like, okay, I've made my base, but then it's being lost of like, what do I do now? Do I just kind of wait for events to happen around me? And I would say that's a down point for most of these games in the genre, is just the, sometimes like the sense of direction. Minecraft could be another one, but that's kind of like the biggest one because there is no story mode. Base Minecraft, I know obviously they've made a Minecraft with a story mode, then they got Minecraft Legends coming out, but the end game, of Minecraft is the Ender Dragon, right? But you don't have to tackle the Ender Dragon. Other than that, it's like, okay, what do I do? You set up your house, great. You could set up a farm, great. Set up a farm of animals, great. You have these check marks, but then after a certain point, once you kind of get those things checked, whether it's any of these games, you hit that point of, and that void of like, okay, what now? And I know a lot of people put hours upon hours upon hours into these games. Stardew has blown up since it's first launched, obviously, and people still play that game. And like, hey, you do you know, you're having a fun time. Awesome. Like, I always love jumping into these games, and there is an excitement, but then it reaches that level once again of just like, now what? And it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of a little bit, not demoralizing, but like, that negative feeling of like, dang, I was really having a good time, but then it's either there's no direction where you have no idea what you want to do, or it's the opposite where there's too much that you can do and you can't focus your energy anywhere. So I don't know if it's just something I need to do as a player, or if it's something that maybe these games could do better, but kind of like give a system, or not a checklist, but kind of things like to chase after. Like, hey, great, you got your house. Okay, let's focus on the farm. Okay, you got your farm. Let's focus on crafting better stuff or cooking or whatever. I don't know. But if they gave these more concrete goals, I think that would help me personally kind of keep me going. And maybe these mechanics are in the games and I'm just missing it. Sometimes they are, but then they kind of just give you everything at once, like in your quest log. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't help me. For example, with Grounded, Jeff and I are very different players. He just wants to, go with the story. And I'm like, well, I feel like we should kind of get some more resources, prep a little bit, blah, blah, blah. Like, and obviously, there's that variance there of like how we want to experience it and play it. And that's fine. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with how he wants to play. There's nothing wrong with how I want to play. It's just if you're going to progress, you got to work not in a straight line, but from point A to point B. You can't be, here's the end point, and then, no. Oh, let's go over here, and then let's go down this way, and then let's go up this way, because then there's no progress towards the end. And eventually you're just going to get frustrated because you're not checking that box for yourself, whether it's in the game and seeing it visually, or just, hey, we had this goal we were trying to do. It still isn't done. So with games like this where it gives you all these options, I just feel it can be frustrating from time to time. So I don't know. Once again, maybe it's just how I'm playing them. Maybe I just need to be more, I guess, not diligent, but there's a term I'm thinking of. More strict with myself, I guess, of just like, okay, I have this thing. Now what do I do? And then circling back on before, I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit. Sorry about that. But then there's the question of like, okay, I did check all the boxes. What do I do now? I'll go with Minecraft for this, just because it's probably the easiest example I can think of, or even RimWorld, just because I don't have a ton of experience in that game's story. But, you know what, fuck it, I'll go with RimWorld just because of recency. So you crash land, you set up your base. Great. Everybody's got a bedroom. Great. You got your butcher table to cut up animals. You got your dinner thing so you can cook meals. Great. You have storage to put all your shit in. You got a freezer to put your food in. Great. You got your power so you have electricity. Great. You got your farms going outside. Great. Then what? Like after you get everything situated, there's not, as far as I know, RimWorld, there's no sense of direction. And games, when it gets to this point, it's like, okay, so why should I keep playing? And I think a game that did a decent job of this, along the same lines, a little bit different, but is Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter initially I think was a mobile game, then it came to consoles. I think it's on PC too. But with that game, you had to get your resources. You had your energy of your electricity, and you had water that you had to get. And gradually it would deplete over time because you're using the resources, duh. But you had these rooms that were designated for getting you those resources. So you'd still make your vault underground just like any of these other games with a farm or a house or whatever it is. But then you would have missions that you have to leave your vault and specifically go out for. And I feel like that was a better system. Also, your base would get attacked from time to time if you don't have, either it just happen randomly or for some reason it would happen because of certain events. Like bugs would either appear in certain rooms that you need to take care of, or if it was a raid, raiders would attack the top. And it just felt like there wasn't these long extended pauses in between those events. It seemed like they happened enough that things were going on, but not all the time that you felt like there was no recovery time. Like you were just getting fucking punched in the face over and over again. I don't know. Maybe it was just me understanding the mechanics of Fallout Shelter a little bit more compared to these other games. But I felt that even though it was similar, and then it was this resource builder and building your colony, your vault, whatever, there were things that were happening as well as the building that made you feel like progression was happening. Was there technically an end game to Fallout Shelter? No. I think I put maybe 100 hours into that game, got the platinum for it on PlayStation, and it was like, that is my ending point. I hit my goal. I got all these trophies, checkaroo, And that could be said, that could also be said for a lot of these titles in these genres, is they can be endless. I know Stardew has either the 2-year or 3-year point where it's like, okay, did you do well on your farm to impress your grandfather enough, or did you not? So there's technically an end point. I think you still keep farming freely after that point. But then you get something like Minecraft, which we already touched on, There's no true end unless you tackle the Ender Dragon. But then even after that, it's just, okay, you did it. Now back to the overworld, and you're back on your farm. I don't know if, just for me, if that course was kind of laid out a little bit better, if that would make the experience more satisfying for me. And once again, some of these games do it, but they don't give like this one path. It's just like, here's everything, yeah, and they chuck it at you, and you're like, I don't know. You're just overwhelmed with all these choices and things like that. Like, I have that in normal life. I don't need that in here. So I don't know. This is probably just me on a soapbox ranting and raving about things that I probably could be better with, for sure. But they are fun overall, and I suppose that's overall supposed to be the point. It's just those points where I hit that wall, that barrier of just like, why am I all of a sudden now not interested in this game anymore? And it's either because the lack of direction or there's too much direction. It's not that middle ground of like, there's the carrot dangling in front of me to chase after, and it's enticing enough to chase after. I think overall would be, I guess, how to wrap it up nice and neat in a bow of just these experiences. But they are fun. I'm looking forward to diving more into these titles to try and see if maybe I'm missing something or whatever. Like I said, Grounded has been fun, and maybe that's playing it with Jeff, having that other user experience with me, bouncing ideas off of each other. What do we want to chase? Things like that. And then RimWorld is exciting just because it seems like it's so in-depth with its mechanics and like trying to figure it all out and remember, oh, this does this, this does this. I hear there's a story in RimWorld, or at least an objective to chase, but they don't lay it out super clearly. And then another title that is coming out in a few months that has elements of these games, but seems like has a more point-to-point story is Cult of the Lamb. And I'm excited for it. The art style looks adorable, and the story is intriguing enough. I'm just hoping that the story is as focused as it seems to be from the trailer and from the demo that is on Steam right now. You still have to recruit followers to your cult. You still have to build a little fort with base camps, with food and resources that you need. But it seems like you do that, go out and tackle a boss. You come back, you do that, you go out and tackle a boss. It seems like there is an end point that you're working towards. I guess it's kind of like a Warcraft, not online Warcraft, but not World of Warcraft, but Warcraft, the good Warcraft. Kidding. Well, maybe. That real-time strategy game where you build all these resources, obviously, like your peons, or that was orcs. What did you call them if you're humans? Were they just dudes? I don't remember. But you get your dudes, they build stuff for you, you got your barracks, you got your gold mines, they get the resources, they chop down trees. But obviously the end point was, okay, you need to go out and you need to take out the enemy bases. You could take as long as you wanted to build up your army and stuff, but obviously the other people were doing that too. So the end goal was always present. I know it's a different genre because it's a real-time strategy compared to these survival strategy, but I think taking that element of that point-to-point story, or at least these clear defined goals, and throwing into survival kind of would make them more intriguing. But overall, they are fun. They do allow you to be, patient and creative and give you the freedom to do all these different things. It's just when it gets to that kind of crescendo, that point where it's like, okay, I've done everything I can, now what? That's the danger zone where I personally lose interest. But I don't know, just wanted to vent, just wanted to share my experience with these titles because they are a lot of fun. I want to get more out of them, and just want to play more. be excited about playing more and not have it just fizzle out and die away. Well, this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join the chat if you're a subscriber over there. Love to have you in on all the fun. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. Get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. And we'd love you for it. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. I know it was a little bit of a shorter one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the 2 topics. We'll continue to be back, bringing on guests, doing more solo episodes, having some fun with that. But I appreciate you guys hanging out, giving this a watch, giving it a listen, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.